live. Hello, change makers. Welcome. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
I think we're 100% live. It looks like we are. Okay, so welcome. It's Amelia here from Know the Self Mystery School, and I am joined today with my beautiful and lovely Melissa, who's an apprentice in the school, and we are going to learn more about her and her new role. But we thought we'd come on here live today. It's January 2020, and energy has been shifting and changing, and we've been accelerated in our ascension process. And we thought it was important to start communicating more regularly in a new fashion. And so we've teamed up to broadcast this live to you today to just discuss all the incredible energy that's happening that we're noticing, and would love to hear from you guys what you're noticing and how things have been shaping up. Melissa, you want to jump in and share anything?
Sure. Yeah. I think both of us, because we're interacting with so many people, we're working with so many people, we're seeing a lot of trends, and we're seeing the energy move really quickly and change really quickly. We're having to meet more often to stay on top of it. And we were having such good discussions during our meetings that we thought, oh my gosh, we should record these so everybody can listen to them. So we're actually just going to start posting them live to the R&R group, the Rebirth and Renewal group on Facebook, which is a free, for those of you that aren't already in the Rebirth and Renewal group, it's a free Facebook group that we have. But we just wanted to kind of share with you all what we're seeing with the collective, what we're dealing with in our own lives, and how it's kind of applicable to share our experiences to kind of resonate harmonically so we can all have a little help.
Yeah, and if you're listening live, I see a handful of you there. Go ahead and like the video or say hello in the comments so we can interact with you live. And these will also be posted to our Know the Self YouTube channel. So if you're not a subscriber there, please subscribe to that channel, and you'll be updated with our regular energy updates that we plan to be doing moving forward. So before we jumped on live, Melissa and I we chat every week for a number of hours discussing the energy and what's at play and how things are affecting us. And I was just asking her what she was noticing this week post the new moon in Aquarius. And I would love you if you could repeat some of what you were just sharing with me, Melissa, because I think it's really appropriate and applicable to everyone who's listening.
Okay, so a little background. During the eclipse sandwich and the beginning of the year, we had a big Saturn-Pluto conjunction, and there was a lot going on energetically.
And how things are affecting us. So sorry. I was
it's
just
like
asking.
I was having a hard time. I was losing my vision for the future. I didn't know what to be focusing on or how to reframe things. Everything was changing. Everything was moving so quickly. I was doing so much inner transformation. This week and over the weekend with the new moon, I'm feeling a lot more clarity, much clearer vision, much more hope. And I'm doing it I'm feeling a lot of freedom to really do it in a way I can stretch the limits of what I feel is possible right now and manifest things that maybe are just way outside of what I ever thought was possible. Or that's what I'm feeling. So.
Yeah, I'm feeling the exact same way. And it's interesting because we have this dichotomy of like the state of the world and the things we're hearing in the news, and like the looming World War III and the environmental destruction. And yet, and I'm feeling, all the fires and everything that's going on that is super tragic. And yet it's almost embarrassing, not embarrassing, but like I feel somewhat guilty for saying that I feel so good, so happy, so lit up, and so positive, despite or in spite of all of the craziness. And it's interesting because I remember feeling the same way when Trump took office. You know, so many people were outraged and upset. And of course, I'm not a Trump supporter. And so it was really concerning for me and disturbing. But when I sat with myself and I sat in my own energy field, I felt called forth. I felt activated at a level that I had never felt activated before. I felt my voice free up. I felt that it was time to start serving in a bigger way. And so I think it's important for everyone to make sure that they're tuning in with their own energy system instead of just buying into like what's happening in the world or what's happening in the collective, because each one of you holds keys and activations and energy systems that they're like seeds with a special timing. You know, they get activated and sprout when they're ready, and not when the government or the world's policymakers and people decide that it's time for you to rise. Like, you're just going to rise and ascend and feel your own energy system. So I'm just saying it's okay to be happy, despite if people around you are feeling scared or uncertain or in fear. In fact, it's probably critical if you are one of those people that are feeling really hopeful right now. It's probably a huge, it's not probably, it is a huge indication that you're here to bring some solutions forward. So
I totally agree with that. So I think there are a lot of really hard things happening. And I think that for anyone who has been doing this for any length of period of time, we kind of knew that was going to happen, because with great change comes a lot of discomfort. And, you know, you can't rebuild something new without some destruction. You have to plow a field before you can plant an entirely new crop. You know, you have to, sometimes, you know, you have to have a forest fire. It has to happen. There are natural cycles. And even though always anything that it creates a lot of damage or death or upheaval is hard to handle, we have to, in those moments are the ones when those of us who can need to hold hope. Hope is so powerful. To hold a vision of the future that is not full of fear and full of angst and worry and destruction is so important. All of us are getting better at manifesting. We're getting more psychic. We're getting more powerful. And it is very important for us to hold the light and hold the vision. It's very important.
I remember when my father passed away, like at the moment of his death, and I knew he was dying for a number of months before he died. And then I was there when he passed over. And I remember how unusual and surprised I felt in the death process, because I guess I had imagined that I would be like wailing and crying and distressed. What surprised me is that I was in ecstasy and bliss for a number of months, like almost 3 months straight following his passing. And I had a similar experience when my house burned down. Like, I was watching the house burn and everything I owned with it, like my business, my computers, like everything, my clothes. I only had my pajamas on. And while I watched it burn, I was in an ecstatic bliss. And I've been like surprised by this time and again. It also happened to me when I was near death with jaundice. I was in bed for 3 months and I was in excruciating physical pain, but I was also in a state of transcendental bliss. And I see these things coming together all the time in my life as a repeating pattern. Like, things can look so grim or so absolutely horrid, but if I'm honest with myself, I'm feeling like super blissed out. And so I'm kind of noticing like, okay, what does this mean? And when I look back in retrospect of like what happened after my dad passed away, what happened after my house burned down, what happened after I got so sick, and my life radically changed. I was in a completely different
Yeah.
experience. In all cases, all three cases, I moved countries. I had a major life change.
Mm-hmm.
And those changes were for the better. And they put me on my path, and they put me in a place of serving a greater number of people and feeling more connected to my life purpose and my mission. So I just want to say that to all of you who are feeling some sort of doom and gloom, but also in your like smaller life, like outside of the collective, just your personal life, maybe you're feeling some really some excitement and some hope. Like, use that and flow with it. It's your lifeboat that's taking you to that next destination on your path.
We have so much power to choose, and you're just good at that too. I mean, you teach that how to handle change well, and navigate it. So you're a really good person to look to for like.
I've been through a lot of life changes, a lot.
Something you were talking about reminded me of like childbirth, because I've had 6 children. It's painful. It's hard. You hit points where you just think you're gonna die, but like the whole time you got this baby coming, and it's beautiful. And it's kind of like that. That's how I feel like what's going on right now. Like, this is just, it's pain before something beautiful is gonna happen. And so just holding out for that.
Yeah.
And we're like, I know one thing, sorry, I'm gonna change the topic here. We've been talking a lot about how everybody's getting more psychic and telepathic, and how things are changing because of that too. It's also causing some discomfort, because we're all a little bit more, okay, so I've been experiencing this for a while, because so many of my close soul connections are super psychic, and they're readers, and I'm always totally vulnerable with my beloveds, but we're all starting to experience that more. We were talking about that and how that's such a new and challenging thing for people.
Mm-hmm. I want to just give a shout out to all those who are listening live. I see you, Paula, good morning, Dave, Adriana, Ed, Monica, hello. I think there's a few more. I can't keep my Facebook open while we're doing this through Zoom, so please write in the comments if you want to share anything. Adriana says she feels excited and fearless, strangely, so yeah, I think we're all on that same point. I'm noticing you were talking about the collective energy and like the amount of telepathy and synchronicities that you're having with your friends and colleagues, Melissa. And I think it's happening on a grand scale. Like, people are really waking up right now. I'm noticing this surprising amount of telepathy with people that they wouldn't themselves call themselves psychic or even call themselves intuitive, but yet they're responding constantly to thought forms. Like, even I'll have a thought form and then they will respond. I'm noticing it with some of the most unsuspecting people, not people in the school who are studying this or practicing meditation at all. Just
like answering questions when they're just in your head and you haven't said them out loud or something. Like, that's been happening to me all the time.
Yeah. So let us know, you guys who are listening, if that's happening to you, if you're noticing accelerated telepathic connection. I feel that for those of you who know me, I've been involved with technology since the birth of the internet, the early 90s. I started one of the first web design companies before people were even online or doing email. And what I noticed back then, and what I spoke to a lot, was how technology was training our extrasensory abilities, specifically in telepathy, because I started noticing my own telepathic abilities getting stronger through the use of email and instant chat messaging, because I would feel the imprint or feel the question or feel the person just before I would receive the text or the email. And it started to speed up our ability to communicate, right? We don't have to have lengthy phone calls anymore. We can send a short text or even an emoji or just a wave to someone, and they start to feel us. And I think that it's really helped us tune into that fourth dimensional astral space that we are now constantly interacting on. So people are just sensing each other without the need to really communicate. And so we have this other issue where people are feeling really lonely and disconnected because they're more and more on their gadgets and less interfacing with real people. But there is a blessing and a curse there, because the blessing is like we're feeling people so much quicker. We're responding to thought forms so fast. It's incredible. And it also can lead us to all kinds of miscommunications or people pretending. How many times have you gotten a text and you feel the tone is like so off-putting and you're reacting, and then it just kind of flares out, and then you find out that's not what was going on? That's sort of another topic, but it happens a lot too.
Yeah. So we a lot have been talking about lately about how we can feel when someone is having strong emotions toward us, or like desire, or you feel me when I'm angry at you. Like Amelia and we're close friends, but everybody has a little bit of conflict. So I think it's an interesting phenomenon that you've been really good at reading. You've been really in tune with energy for a long time. I have not. I've been only consciously, engaging like that for what? A year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And I'm starting to feel that. I can feel when someone's angry at me. I can feel when someone's fantasizing about me, or I can feel when someone's trying to feed on my energy or something like that. And I'm wondering how that's going to play out as more and more people come online and more people are sensing that, how that's going to play out in like a societal shift in communication, when you can't really pretend that you feel a certain way or that you don't feel a certain way, when they can literally just feel it.
Sense it. Yeah, I feel that's exciting for me, because I feel like we're having to move towards more congruency in our communication and in our integrity and honesty with ourselves. Unfortunately, I think many people's thoughts and emotions are completely disconnected. Like there's such huge blocks between their sexual center, their heart center, and their mind, and then their throat's blocked. And so they think that whatever they say is what everybody's kind of like agreeing to accept. And I had to really train myself with this as a child, because I could see that people's words and their emotions were sometimes completely disconnected, and it didn't make sense, and it really confused me. And I hated English. I still do, for a lot of reasons, because I feel like English inherently is a bunch of lies. I don't know all languages. English is my first language, so English language somehow inherently builds in lying into it, like the way we speak and the words we choose. And it was not connecting to what I was seeing energetically. Like if I see anger, or I see lust or emotions, and then I ask a question to see what the response is, and then the words aren't in congruency with that, it used to disturb me so deeply. And I had to train myself to only react to the voice, because it was unethical for me to react to their thoughts and their mental and their sacral energy, because they weren't giving me permission for that. So a lot of people would get angry at me because they're like, I'm saying this. And I'm like, but that's not what I'm feeling. I feel that, I'm hearing your thoughts and I'm feeling your sexual energy, and you're saying this, but it's not matching. And it led to so much confusion. And I feel now there's more permission for people to be instinctual. Like we have to be instinctual, because things are moving so quickly right now. And there is literally like an acceleration happening. And people are sort of popping online and realizing, you know, there's nothing we can hide. Like your search, everything you search for is going into a database somewhere. Every phone call you have, every conversation you're having in your house, you have ears listening in, right? If it's not Alexa, it's your phone. You know, every single thing that we do is being surveillanced. So as much as I don't like surveillance or internet policing, I think what it's showing is that there is really nothing we can hide. So from a spiritual psychic sense, you know, your thoughts are being broadcast all the time. So I've had many men in my life get angry at me that they feel that they can't like have a thought without me seeing it. And I said, well, I'm not prying into your mind. I'm not sitting there trying to read your thoughts. Like that doesn't work for me. That's not how I receive information.
It just is there. It's like they're talking out loud to you. I've had that experience, feeling like I'm just having emotions here and I'm not speaking them to you and I'm not choosing them. I'm just feeling them for a minute. Can you not respond to those, please? You know, like I've felt that with my friends and colleagues who are readers. Like just for a minute, I need you to hold on and wait till I process this so I can speak from my truth. It's such a difficult place to be. It's a new thing to handle. I think I handle it fairly well.
You're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. I just want to answer, a few people have jumped in and said some things. Dave said he's been noticing his abilities growing, both in others and himself. Adriana says she feels a presence, but it's very subtle, nothing like telepathy yet, although more and more intuitive. She said, yeah, interesting about what I was saying about the English energy, about speaking English. And Edward says, instinctual sensitivity heightened. Yeah. No, Melissa, I feel like you've been, I've watched you over the last, whatever it's been, year and a half, 2 years of really, I love how you take time to process and then you come forward when you've aligned. And I've seen you even stop and pause when you notice that there's an incongruency happening and you do take time out for yourself. I've loved watching you do that. I think you are very mastered in doing that. And, you know, maybe
just saying, you've trained me to do that. I really don't, you don't have a choice when I could withdraw from a relationship or something if I wanted to, but if I want to maintain relationship, okay, so you help me too, because you'll say, is there something that we need to clear between us? I'm feeling like it might be this or it might be this. And I feel total freedom to say, I don't know what I'm feeling right now or what is true or what is a thought form. I just need to process this and I will get back to you. And you're not like, no, we have to talk about it now. This is what I'm feeling. You know, you give me like space to process and figure out what my truth is first. And so you make it safe. And I think that's an important step in this whole process. Are we getting more questions?
No,
okay.
I'm just listening to you. Yeah, it's nice that you say you learned it from me. I thought that you had this experience from being a mother to so many. I was like, wow, she does that so well.
Probably tried it too. Yeah, but
no, but I love how you're how you take time and then you come back to stay in connection, because I think that you have an amazing ability to stay connected through adversity, where a lot of people do run. Like I was more of a runner because I never felt it was safe to fully share everything that I was feeling and sensing, and that people don't like to sit with the truth very often. You know, most people prefer some level of denial, some level of cover up, some level of keeping a status quo or keeping things sort of at bay. And I'm someone who really thrives and needs the truth to be revealed quickly. Like I don't like harnessing relationships that have a lot of undertones and kind of elephants in the room. And because of my upbringing and having grown up in cult indoctrination and working with high-level people who have a ton of secrets that are very toxic, I have made it a point that I'm no longer going to hold these secrets because they're making me sick, even if they're not mine. So of course I do have client confidentiality and I don't share other people's stories without their explicit permission, but I am no longer going to participate in this sort of unhealthy hiding. You know, I've had a lot of people explain to me why they hide certain truths or why they live in these lies, and I can respect their decisions to live the way that they're living, to kind of keep their life moving the way it is, but it's not for me. It's not something that I subscribe to. I don't want to participate in it. I can't live like that. I would never want a marriage or a friendship or a connection based in that way, because it doesn't make me feel safe. I want to be able to trust. I want to feel safe. I want to feel congruent. And I really think it just comes down to congruency. So for any of you listening to this, if you want to learn how to find your own congruency, how to stand in congruency, and really harness your energy and clear out all those blocks and traumas and things, come join us in the mystery school. You can private message me and I will give you that information. There's been some new offerings that I'm birthing out into the world right now. I'm doing private mentoring with emerging leaders and people who want to bring their spiritual mission, ground their spiritual mission into their work in the world. So if that interests you, like Melissa, please reach out. I have 2 seats open for private mentoring this quarter. So if that is interesting you, you can jump in, private message me, and I'll give you all the details. Anything else you want to share, Melissa?
I just wanted to remind people that we have the Instagram at Know the Self, and what's your YouTube ID?
Know the Self on YouTube. So yeah, please follow us on those channels as well. You can check out more about Melissa at Prismatic Awakening on Instagram. She also has a blog, and you'll be hearing more from the both of us in the coming weeks, days, months. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for listening. It's been awesome to sit with you, and let us know how, if you have questions or you're noticing things, share it with us in the comments and we'll get back to
definitely. You. We want to address things that are, pertinent to you. I write a lot for the school, so we definitely want to address things that are coming up for you that are pertinent in your life. So let us know, and thank you for the opportunity to share with you. And don't forget to hang out with us in the IG or on our Facebook groups at Rebirth and Renewal. So
thank you guys. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.